Alright, this time at the Quick Speed Shop, I got my Model A Hot Rod Shop Truck right here. We're going to be doing some steering geometry work today. I've got this awesome master tow gauge set up here. Check that out. It's got a 58 DeSoto on the front of it. It's probably from 1958. It's made by the Judson Engineering Company in Massachusetts. And we're going to use the tow gauge to try to set the tow. And we're also going to tighten up the Vega steering box because my box is sloppy. That's what she said. And I've got a real bad shake in this, about 50 miles an hour. Like death wobble / shake, so I think we're gonna have to do some front end tightening up here to make the thing better driving, because it's not getting any better and it's kind of annoying. So we're gonna work on the Hot Rod Shop Truck today, and we're gonna start it, bam, with this thing right now. Okay, you can see down here, this is the steering box. It's a manual Vega box. I've got the pitman arm sticking out the front instead of the rear. But watch when I turn the steering wheel here. I've got about a 1/8 to 1/4 turn of slop in the box before it starts moving the pitman arm. So what we're going to do right now, we're going to try to tighten that up. So I'm going to loosen up this jam nut on the top of the steering box for the adjuster stud here. I think it's, nope, it's 1/2 inch. I'm going to back that off a little bit and then crank down on the center stud. Okay. Don't mind my hand. Alright, I backed the jam nut off a little bit. I'm just going to take a screwdriver and tighten down. I know it's a shadowy day here, but you're right in the shadows. Man, bunch of grunge in the slot here. Hold on a minute. Alright, now I'm just going to take this stud and I'm going to turn it down into the box and see if we can put some lash on these gears to stiffen this thing up a little bit. I'm going to go about a 1/4 turn to start. I'm not sure what the actual how tight it goes, but I'm going to go 1/4 turn like that. And now I'm going to spin the shaft and see if that made any difference. Yep, that helped a lot. This thing was pretty loose, so we're probably going to have to take a big swing at it here. I'm going to go another 1/4 turn like that. Getting better. We got way less slop in there, but let's go another 1/4 turn. I don't really feel any resistance on it there. And we're creeping up on it. Man, this is taking a lot of adjustment, but this was really loose. Now, I'm going to go, I think, one more 1/4 turn because this is starting to get stiff. Right there, let's try that. I like that. It's got about a 1/4 inch of play in the steering wheel or so. I'm going to try that for now. We'll tighten this jam nut back down. So, put almost a full round of action into that stud. That's quite a bit. Usually you don't need to adjust them that far, but this box was, you saw, was really, really loose. So I'll tighten that back down. Now I run this exact steering setup on my Model A coupe with unbalanced bias ply tires with an old Vega box. It didn't have quite that much slop in it, but it's a little bit sloppy, and I don't have any problem with the front end of that car. It goes down the road straight with unbalanced bias ply tires, 616s, with the same setup this truck has, with a Ford axle, with 37 to 41 Ford spindles, Speedway tie rod ends, Speedway drag link, and a Vega box with a Vega style pitman arm. So it's something in the geometry of this truck that's making it screw up, because my coupe can go down a road, doesn't shake at any speed, and this truck has a really bad shake at between like 51 to 55 miles an hour, which is a sweet spot that you tend to drive at a lot. So it's been really, really annoying. But we tighten up the box. Now I'm going to get out that tow gauge, and we're going to see what the tow is, and see if we can dial that in a little bit more, and then take the truck for a ride and see if it still shakes or not at 50 miles an hour. So the master tow gauge here, the 6th dimension. What we're going to do is drive up to it, equalize it to the tires, make sure it's square to the tires. This gauge here, there's a little indicator here, which I've set to 0. And when you move this back and forth, the tow gauge moves. So I guess what you do is you drive up to it, square it up to the vehicle, and then you pull on straight without touching the steering wheel. And when the tires hit this wood, it must push the tires straight equally, and then it turns this gauge underneath the tires, and it'll tell you how much tow in or tow out you have, apparently. So okay, I'm going to back up 1 revolution and then pull onto the gauge. Let me set the gauge to 0. Make sure we're on 0 here for tow. Okay, now I'll back up and then we'll go ahead. Couldn't tell where the wooden block was. Now, this says we've barely got any tow in. We've got less than the 16th. Is pretty much tow is equal to 0 on the gauge. Have I done it right? I'm on the gauge there. I'm going to get out a tape measure and just let me measure from tread to tread, do a real quick measurement, see what the tape measure says with the gauge here, because I'm curious. This is just guesstimating. I'm going to try to stay in the center of the tire. I'm going to see, I only got 4 treads. I'm going to hook over the outside of the 3rd tread. I'm going to measure it to the outside of the 3rd tread. I've got 57 3/4 right on the money, outside of the 3rd tread to outside of the 3rd tread. And I'll go under the truck and I'll measure on the back. We'll see what that is. If I can reach it. This is always a struggle. Okay, our gauge is pretty close to the tape measure is pretty close to what the gauge says. The gauge says I've got about a 1/16 of toe in, and my tape measure, using my tape measure, says I've got an 1/8 inch of toe in. So that's, you know, just measuring off the tire, that's probably pretty close. I'm going to go, I guess, with a gauge. So I've got just a tiny little bit of toe in. So usually on these old Ford front ends, you want like 0 to 1/8 of toe in. So I'm in the ballpark here. Let's take it for a spin here. I got a GoPro hooked to the frame rail to watch the suspension. Hopefully I don't lose it, and let's try it out. I don't think it fixed it. I had quite a bit of shake. You saw I just come back into the driveway. I had quite a bit of shake. The toe appears to be good though, like within an eighth. It could be these tires. I've always questioned these tires, even though I balance them. My friend's place, I have a question about the tires, and if I want to bolt some other ones onto, they're smaller, and see if that makes a difference. But I don't think tightening up the steering box made a difference, and the toe seems to be good. I mean, it's nice to have the steering tighter now, but you have to keep searching here. I can swap out the steering box if I have to with another one. I've got 2 other Vega boxes to see if that makes a difference, but I'm going to look at the suspension video and see if I see side to side or up and down. It could be a vibration up and down too. We're into the guessing stage here of the game. I'm going to swap on some other front wheels here and try it. These are 165 R15s. They're Firestones, made in Mexico. They're only 2 years old. I already see dry rot starting in the sidewall. Not really happy with that. They're made in Mexico, but I put these on here, and I was always curious. These are pretty cheap Firestone tire. I was always curious if they were out of whack. Yeah, it's dry rotted in here too. You can see that they're balanced, but I'm going to try some different wheels. The only thing I got that's going to fit is donut spares, because these tires are so small. All my other wheels hit the fenders real bad, so we're going to try some donut spares here. I got the aluminum one that's a spare I carry with a truck on the right front. I got the 16-inch Steely I'm going to put on this side. Hopefully it'll clear the hub. Oh yeah. So these will clear the fender, and they'll be good enough for a blast down the road. But this will tell me just something easy to do to see if the tire or the wheel's making the shake. You know, without changing everything around real fast. If it still shakes with these wheels, I'm going to guess that it's got a loose spot in the centering in that steering box, and it's got a death wobble. I could put a steering damper on it. That just kind of masks the problem. I'll probably go ahead and change the steering box at that rate and try it with a different box and see if it shakes. I ran these wheels before I redid this truck with a GM Saginaw box, and they didn't shake anywhere near as bad. And actually, when I was looking at the video when I first put this on the road, fenderless, I had these wheels, but I had a bigger, wider tire on them, and the front end didn't shake like that at all. So it's only since I've put the smaller tires on the wheels that the shake happened. But I also changed the shock mounts to mount off the frame differently from how they were. But I just went and reviewed the frame rail footage, and the shock isn't like going nuts on the shock. It appears to be side to side like a death wobble in the wheel. So I'm gonna guess it's something to do with the wheels or that steering box. But we'll try these different ones on here just for grins and giggles. Okay, let's try it again here with the different wheels. I did a bunch of driving in the sweet spot where it'd shake, and I could see the fenders move with the bumps in the road. I went down a bumpier section of the road that really shook the front end bad. Usually when I go on the way to work, it shakes it real bad. And I could see the fenders move with the bumps. I didn't get any death wobble or isolation at all. It's something on the tires. They're either not balanced anywhere near correctly and they start a harmonic, or the tires are just not round. My friend's got a special balancing machine, or an older school balancing machine. I'm going to take the wheels over there and try to balance them up and see if that makes a difference. But I'm a little don't like the dry rot in those sidewalls. I might just pull the trigger and buy BF Goodrich makes a set of tires. These Firestones are pretty cheap, made in Mexico. I'll probably buy a set of BF Goodrich TA 165 R15s and swap them on and rebalance the rims because it doesn't shake with these donut spares. And I'm running a 15-inch donut spare on the right and a 16-inch donut spare on the left. They're about the same height, but you know, old tires, not balanced, and it didn't shake at all. Like it wasn't doing that death shake that it was doing before. So it's definitely something in the tire or the wheel. I could have a bent wheel, I guess, but when I spun balance them last time, it wasn't obvious that the wheel was bent. But I'm going to guess it's those tires. This truck didn't drive like that before I put the tires on it. So yeah, and I got the video evidence of when it was fenderless with these same wheels with different tires, and that front end didn't shake like that. So it's something, most likely those tires. I'll probably have to buy a set of 2 new tires, which sucks because these only got 1,000 miles on them, but as you can see, they're starting to dry rot. I'll keep them for rollers, I guess, on something else. But well, this has turned into a fun wheel sourcing game for me. It's a couple hours later. I've been looking around, swapping things around. Check this out. So I ordered the new tires. I got 155/80 R15 BF Goodrich radial TAs to go on the front. These are 165/80/15, so they're one size smaller. But what I have a problem with, that might be one of my issues, is see the width of this rim here on this tire? This is a 6-inch diameter rim. Hold on, here comes the tractor. I was already pushing the width of the rim I could run to the 165. Usually going a 4.5-inch to 5.5-inch rim, and I had on a 6-inch rim with a 4-inch backspace. The 155/80/15 BF Goodrich, it says to put on a 4.5 to 5.5-inch rim. I could probably get away with the 6, but I'm wondering if that's one of the issues too, is maybe one of these rims has something wrong with it. Could be bent or something like that, or out around. So I think I want to try to go to new rims with the new tires on the front, since the steel rims didn't help or didn't hurt there. Maybe it needs some more weight on the front end instead of the aluminum rim, which it shouldn't, but maybe that is part of the problem. So I went inside and I had a shoebox rim here. This is a 15x5 shoebox Ford 49 to 51 Ford wheel. And it's got a, what, 670/15 on it. But the only problem with it, this would be the right size rim. The offset's not quite what I want. I'd like a little bit more offset here. This is, what, 2... it's like 3. I'm sorry, I think it's about 3. So the offset would probably work. The problem with these early Ford hubs wheels is the hubs are super small to fit on the early Ford hubs. And they won't fit on the Speedway disc brake kit I got. It's got the big Ford hub, which you see this wheel fits on there tight. It's got the big Ford hub, so I would have to really cut and grind those shoebox wheels down. So what I did is I went on Summit Racing, and I'm getting some Wheel Antiques 15x5 3-inch backspace wheels that match the front of that shoebox wheel. They're like an OEM Series Classic 62, I think they call it. So the wheel is going to look the same as a shoebox wheel, but it'll have the big hub to go on these front disc brakes. They're $128 a piece, brand new. So I'm going to order a pair of those. On the rear here, I got another set of shoebox wheels mounted up. These are still 15x5s. This one was on a trailer, but I've got it mounted up there. It fits the Ford hub, the 8-inch rear end, because it's got the smaller Ford hub, so it fits. it lines up good with my fender back spacing in there. The only problem is the rim, I believe, is the same diameter as this one, like a 15.5 or 15.5.5. So it's a little narrow for my my 235 75/15 tire I've got on my 6-inch rim. So I don't really want to buy 4 rims right now if these will work. So what I'm going to do is demount the 235s off there and see if they'll fit on these rims without being bulged out super far. And if they will, I can just run these rims on the back and they'll match the new front rims, this style surface on them. If not, I can buy new Wheel Antiques 15x7s. I'd like 6s, but they're out of stock for like months. So they have 15x7s on Summit for $136. I could buy 15.7 with a 4 1/4 inch backspace, which should still fit fine with my fenders to run my wider back tires, and then have matching steel wheels all the way around in this truck. I want to go with this early like shoebox style look because the truck is more old school hot rod look, I guess I'd say, more vintage look. I was running these aluminum rims that kind of look like a magnesium mag, but I'll have painted steelies all the way around that will match and look like an old school like 60s style rig with the engine and all that stuff. So I think that's my plan for now. Get the new tires and new rims mounted up on the front. That'll take care of my shake, and then figure out if I can get my back tires to fit on those existing rims. If not, I'll have to buy 2 more rims. Wasn't really expecting to buy 4 rims and 2 tires for this truck, but the shake was getting so bad. It was really violent. I don't know if it was, you could tell on the video, but it was really violent, shaking the front end, the fenders and everything, and it's just going to fatigue stuff and crack the fenders, and it's not good for anything to shake it that violently. So new wheels and tires should help out a lot and make it 100 times better, so it barely ever shakes. Because this truck never shook originally. It's just since I put them tires on there, and you know, I try to get by with the things I got, the rims I got, but sometimes you gotta pull the trigger and buy the stuff and do it the right way just to make things better, because try to get along, and I want things to look like it's going to be alright. So I think that's where I'm going to leave it now. I'm going to order up those rims and tires, get them here, get them painted and mounted, then we'll slap them on the truck and see how that looks in a future video, and then I'll decide what to do about the back, see if that works out. And Model A Hot Rod Shop Truck should be back on the road without a terrible front end shake, so I can drive the thing a lot more, have some more miles driving it, have fun with it. So that's it today. Wanted to fix a simple problem, turned into spending lots of money. What are you gonna do? So I guess I'll soldier on. I'm gonna get back on the 37 Ford. I'd like to get this thing running here soon. So I just got to build an exhaust system and run a fuel line. So after that, I should be able to fire this thing up. So I got to stop getting distracted by side projects like the Model A truck and get back on the 37 to finish that up. So come back for that, and we'll see you again right here. Bam! Spending money, fixing hot rods at the Quick Speed Shop. I'm a professional. Don't try this at home.